everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 5, Episode 47, DJI Mavic 3 Classic post-release. Ron Brown, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Bill. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. It was election day today. A lot of people got out and voted.
Yeah, it was fairly nice in here, although you probably heard Hurricane Nicole is making her way to Florida. It's going to hit the East Coast.
Oh, no.
And it's only one. There's only been 5 hurricanes since they started tracking in 1885 that have hit Florida in November. It's very rare, but we'll see. It's gonna impact the East Coast. It's probably gonna be a Cat 1, they said at worst. So we're still waiting and hoping. For us, it's gonna be a lot of wind, a lot of rain. So I adjusted my work schedule. I went into work today, and I'm going into work tomorrow because we're supposed to get a lot of bad weather on Thursday and Friday.
You work from home that day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can work from home that day.
Well, I hope everybody in Florida is safe this time around. I know people are still trying to recover from the last hurricane, Hurricane Ian, which devastated Fort Myers Beach and what's the island offshore there? Sanibel.
Yeah, Sanibel. Yeah. They're still they have months to clean up.
Those people are going to be bad for years. But let's move on to drones here. And the question I need to ask you, Bill, is when you went to the polls today, did you cast your vote for the Mavic 3 Classic?
Yes. Well, I cast my vote for the Mavic 3, not for the Mavic 3 Classic.
Okay.
I'm all on that. Before we get started with stuff, just to let you know, Marcus is going to join us here in a little bit, and Johnnie and Ray are supposed to join us as well. So. And we're going to spend the bulk of the time talking about, guess what, the Mavic 3, which it's just fully justified for that because there's just a lot to digest about that. But the very first thing I want to talk about is our very good friend Stephen Ewing over in Ireland, okay, who he was one of the first people to follow me when we got on here. I know he watched when Ron and I first started doing Rotor Talk. Yeah. He's been on with us for a while. He's having extremely serious back issues to the point where he can't walk. And right now they're talking about therapy and medication. So surgery is not an option at this point. So if you can remember Stephen in your thoughts and prayers, the man is just absolutely incredible. You can't say enough about him. I'm going to drop him some swag. I'm going to get him some to hopefully, get his mind off of things. And kind of help him. I let Ron and Marcus know about that, and I've been in touch with Stephen. So, please remember him in your thoughts and prayers. He's just one of the great guys. You just can't help but love him. He's hopefully going to try to get over to the United States one of these days. If not, if I'd have hit that Powerball, I'd have been over there to see him. So, I spent my $45 and I just, might as well just flew it in the wind. Somebody in California won, Ron.
Really?
$997 million.
Do we know anybody in California?
I do. I have a couple of friends from high school that live out there. So
any droners we know in California?
Well, yeah, there's plenty of droners out there that we know. So, but yeah.
But no, you're right. Steven's been a big supporter of your show, my show, just a fan of drones in general, man. There's been in with drones from the beginning with the rest of us. And speaking of big fans of drones, there's Giant Drone Flyer.
Hey, Johnnie.
Somebody here won I think a 900-some thousand.
Well, somebody here in Florida won $1 million from it. Because if you match so many numbers from that, you get to, and it was in Sarasota, which is just south of us here, which is real interesting. You should have seen the line in Publix yesterday going to get tickets. I went at lunchtime because I worked from home yesterday. It was 20-minute wait just getting through the lotto line yesterday.
Hey, Bill, the recession halted for a few hours yesterday as people were buying lottery tickets, huh?
We'll see.
You're not lying.
You have. I'm sorry. You got to pay cash. I mean, they don't. It's no debit card. They only take cash for that. Yeah. So it's like,
cash.
Well, anyway, okay.
Hey, Bill. Before we get to drones, can I give you a quick update on something? GoPro announced a GoPro 11 Mini back in September when they announced the regular Hero 11. Well, today now I've got the email from GoPro. You can order the Hero 11 Mini today, and I'm
how much
supposed
is
to
it,
get
Ron?
it within a few days.
How much is it?
$299.
Okay.
But I think if you buy that GoPro subscriber thing, you can get it for $249.
Okay.
So very affordable. And, it's kind of a small one for maybe, the FPV guys may want it. It's not as small as that little session, but it's smaller than what we're used to with the Hero 11 or the Action 3. So just something to keep an eye out if you've been looking for that camera. Now it is available to order. So back to drones, Bill.
Back to drones. Well, I'm going to greet everybody, and of course, our good friend Stephen Ewing is here. And Stephen, thank you, thank you,
Stephen.
Well, we just can't say that enough. And you are definitely in our thoughts and prayers. And please send me updates, and I'll be sure to get you some nice swag so you can enjoy it out there. Maddie's Drone World is here. Drone Views Media, Flying Flynn Media. John Olson is here. Brian Gonzalez, Leonard Oglesby, John Olson. Maddie's here tonight. 107 Drones, Charles Hatmaker. Michael Wright is here tonight. Let's see who else we got. Catskills Brad is here. Let's see. Going through drone shots, Johnnie. All right. Just want to let everybody know a real quick update before we jump into stuff. I'm going to be getting out some stickers and pens and all that stuff to you guys. I got a list right here. I promise it's going to go out this weekend. So just to let you guys know. One of the other things, real quick, okay? The whole reason why we started at 7 tonight, just to let you guys know, election returns. Most of the polls out East close at 8 o'clock tonight. And I know a lot of you, there you go. And I know a lot of you want to watch election returns, including myself. So that's why we went ahead and started at 7 tonight instead of 8, just to give you guys the opportunity to do that. So, all right, be that as it may. First thing we're going to talk about tonight, did you know that the Autel EVO II Pro 6K bundle fell to $17.99? Well, it did, and it's a 24-hour deal. Let's go ahead and share this here. Autel EVO II Pro 6K bundle falls to $17.99 and 24-hour deal. Typically a $2,500 EVO II Pro 6K rugged drone bundle from Autel is available discount of 28% in a 24-hour flash sale. B&H Photo has the Autel EVO II Pro drone sale for a massive discount of $701. Okay, you guys know the specs. I'm not gonna.
Hey, Bill, that drone, that $100, that's more than the cost of the Autel Nano at this point, with that being on sale. But the key question people have been asking me about this deal, because I posted also, is this the new version 3 or is this an older version of the EVO II Pro? Because they just released the 3rd edition on October 28th. So is this the up-to-date current model?
My guess it's probably not. And the other question that I had, and I know because I saw Dobo's video on the new smart controller for Autel. All right. Yeah. Is this going to work with a new smart controller from Autel? Okay. And I don't know.
You never know with Autel. Rumors are it will work with the late and the Nano series, but and the new V3 EVO II Pro, but I don't know about the V1 and V2 versions of this drone. So I mean, this is a great deal, but there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, absolutely, Ron.
And and it's only 24 hours. And I think, okay, I'll say that, all right, because people are under the gun. They may pull the trigger and buy it and then find out something like, no, it's not the latest, and no, it won't work with a new smart controller, and and back it goes, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, I know the version 3 of this just came out, so this won't happen for a while, but is there any hint that the EVO 3 Pro is on the horizon? I mean, obviously it's not coming out anytime soon because they just put the V3 of this out, but do you think that's something we'll see in 2023? Or?
Yeah, I think we'll see it in 23, and I think what kind of started going down that path was after I watched Dobo's video. And by the way, Ken, that was a great video you did on the new controller. Props to you. Yeah. You do stellar work all the time, my friend. that really got the ball rolling for me and thinking Autel's going to be coming out of the gate running in 2023. And that's where I think we're going to see that. Okay. And it's easy for them. And I think, and Johnny will agree with this as well, Ron, that it's easy for Autel to make these little tweaks and give it another version number. And basically all you're really doing, probably, it's not really doing any hardware. You may tweak the battery a tad, but more than likely you're doing a different kind of firmware update for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I've been interested in the light. They're running that for $11.99, and I definitely been.
And that's the Firmware bundle, Johnny.
Yeah, it is. It is what they call the premium bundle. But is it going to work with that new controller? So that's one thing.
That's a big. That's a really kind of afraid big thing
to buy it.
And stay tuned. I mean, this is only 24 hours, but guys, be prepared in general, because we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. As closer we get to Black Friday and deals like this, so be prepared. I know I saw somebody post an article said, no, I really want an Air 3S instead when I saw this, and I'm just like, okay, all right.
And Bill, this drone here, whether if it's a version 2, it'll work with that, that big, the first Evo smart controller, the one with I believe it's like what, a 12-inch screen with it's 1,200 nits or something like that. So
it's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
I saw Hot Rod had it at the drone meetup last year.
Yeah, I remember that
massive controller. But I believe that they made it for the V1 Evo II Pro, but they only made like 900 of them because they changed the chipset that summer, and then the rest of them are only compatible with the V2.
Right.
Evo II Pro. So again, it's hard to keep. I mean, Autel, I make great drones, but they do a lot of confusing things to consumers.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna hit this article here before we start the Mavic 3 talk, and again, this is directly from DJI, and DJI went ahead and they're trying to answer something. We're not a Chinese military company. Drone giant DJI releases a new statement. And I'll kind of let you read through this. Okay, DJI is committed to promoting sustainable progress in humanity to build a better world. We are proud that DJI drones have saved lives and improved our world in fields diverse as public safety, environmental protection, agriculture, and clean energy production. We have never approved or enabled any use of our products to cause harm. This is the ethical standard we always have and always will stand by. Okay. This is interesting because it also talks about up here on October 5th, 2022, the U.S. Department of Defense released an update to a list entitled Entities Identified as Chinese Military Companies Operating in the United States. Names of 59 companies of Chinese origin, one of which is DJI. DJI is not a military company in China, the United States, or anywhere else. We stand ready to formally challenge our inclusion on this list. So what do you guys think about this?
This again, they were in that list a couple months ago. We talked about this. I mean, again, anybody from the government, they say that they're work with the military, but they never cite any real evidence. So I mean, if you want to go in the faith of what the people in the government say, I guess it's true, but you're going on all faith because you're never shown any real proof. But on the flip side of that, Bill, if DJI was a Chinese military company, they probably would still issue this thing saying they weren't, because that's what you would do if you were working secretly with the government. So this statement, this statement would be given out even if they were working hand in hand with the military. So in other words, this statement doesn't really mean anything to me, except for the fact that in the back of my mind, we haven't seen any proof that this happened. And I mentioned this before. What was the company, Huawei, that is it Huawei? I hate to say the wrong company, but they made a lot of routers, and they said that they were sending stuff back to China, and somebody actually took one of these routers apart, and they actually did find chips and things in there that could do what they were saying they were going to do. But I don't think anybody's ever dissected a DJI drone or picked up data that any of this was going back to the Chinese military. And again, I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying we're taking this all in faith right now.
Well, one of the things they said about in this article, Johnny, you were going to go say it. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's political, and I don't think I'm like Ron. I don't think anything they say it's not going to woo anybody over one way or another. And I think we all feel, how we feel about that. And I don't know, them getting put on that entity list, and I don't think they can win. And but hey, who's going to take their place in the drone? Like all these the first responders that have these drones, they can't just throw those DJI drones away and not fly them. And who's going to take their place?
Don, listen, you and I had a private conversation a couple months ago about this too. You were saying, like, if your local policeman needs a drone, he could go buy an affordable DJI drone to do what he needs.
Absolutely.
But if he has to buy an enterprise drone from, say, a U.S. company, that would be way out of a small town's policeman's budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, one of the things that they talk about in this article, and, because I'm not taking sides here, but DJI says, once the drones leave our, factory, we can't be responsible for modifications that people do to them. Okay. Yeah. And I get it. And I agree. And I think they were trying to hone in on the point with the war over in Ukraine and Russia, and, them equipping them to drop grenades and all this kind of stuff, things that they were never intended to do. And I get that. And I understand that. And DJI was really kind of bent on this end of the scale, but it's always been in the past, as Ron has just talked about, they've always kind of been like, oh, it's, data and privacy and all that. And there were independent audits. And I know when Brendan Schulman was still with DJI, he and I had a nice conversation about it. And, independent, at least 2 or 3 independent auditors came in and verified there's nothing going back there regarding data from consumer, at least from consumer drones. Okay. There's nothing. So, yeah. And
they already know everything right here that you got in your hand, so.
Okay. I'll give you guys an example today. Okay. I get an email from Google. Your Google Maps summary for October is available. Okay. It showed me, it said I spent more time shopping than going out and, errands or whatever. And it showed the time it took me to go to the grocery store, the time it took me to go to a restaurant, the time it took me to go back home. When I did that, the date, the time, how long it took me to when I drive to work, how long it took me at lunchtime to get. I mean, talk about if you allow it, it'll invade your life. And I don't mind that kind of data. I mean, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care, about that kind of stuff. But, I think this is where they're kind of going with that. But we can get
and most of us consumer drone users, we don't shoot in areas with sensitive, infrastructure, whatever. I mean, like if they scan Johnny and I's drones, what would they? They'd have Johnny flying around his new house construction, they'd be flying around beach. The people, the military in China say, well, what's this crap here? Whatever,
Yeah, I'm about to say they'd be mighty bored. They'd be mighty bored in China if they need to watch me.
or they may say they may say, look at that guy. He has a nice blue house over there. What color blue is that? They may
if they want to see what Lucy,
what color paint was that?
Yeah, if they want to know what Lucy the elephant is doing, Ron, they'll track you.
That's important infrastructure.
We can take a look.
If they drop a bomb on us, they'll take Lucy out first, Bill.
And
that's true.
They might take out Johnny's new house too. So
I hope
you
not.
Never know. And then Johnny goes to war. Okay, Johnny goes to war when that. Okay, no, we're just being completely facetious here.
I'm sorry, folks. We're being funny. We're not trying to minimize spying or whatever. But I mean, if they're spying, they are doing it. Then these sanctions are awarded.
And I think all of us, all 3 of us can agree, this isn't in the consumer drone space. Okay. So it should be left untouched as far as that's concerned. So we're going to move on here because we got a lot to talk about tonight. Okay. A little slow on the uptake here. Okay. All right. DJI launches Mavic 3 Classic, Mavic 3 Chop, softer wallet bite. Okay. For as soon as I saw this article, I'm like,
what a headline, Bill.
Seriously, guys. Seriously. Okay. All of us, I know you two, I know Marcus, I know Ray, I know everybody. It's like, the prices? What? I mean, that was the first thing. I mean, more than any of the features, looking at things, the firmware updates, prices. I'm like, come on, guys. What's going on here?
Yeah, Bill, if they could have kept the price under 1,500, they probably would have sold a boatload of them. But now I think people, are hesitant.
Well, the other thing too is, and I think I kind of talked about it a little bit when I did a recap at noon by myself. One of the things that really kind of surprised me here, but it didn't surprise me. Okay, remember when the Mini 3 Pro came out? Okay, it was almost impossible at that point in time to get the Mini 3 Pro with a standard controller. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it ended up being kind of the same thing, trying to get the Mavic 3 Classic without a controller. Okay. It's like they have a box, check when available, put in your email address and we'll email you when it's available kind of stuff. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. You're releasing a new drone here, DJI. All right. You have it available with the standard controller. You have it available with the DJI RC. What about by itself? Oh, well, we'll let you know when it's ready. Okay. So what they're doing, obviously, and I talked about that when I had my, when I was on by myself, was, they want to force consumers to buy it with a DJI RC.
And they did the same thing with the Avata. You could not get that with just the you could not just get the drone on launch day, even though you could have.
It was no option. You got it with the motion controller.
Yeah. And guys, I get DJI's marketing and I don't get DJI's marketing. Okay. Yeah. I understand that they want to sell the RCs, the DJI with the DJI RC. I get that. All right.
It makes their life easier that people aren't flying with their phones anymore.
Yeah. And I understand that. But there are a lot of people out there. Let's say there's a Mini 3 Pro owner who has the DJI RC. He wants to get the Mavic 3 Classic. He wants to go all in, and all he needs to do is buy the drone. He goes out there to try to buy it on launch day. Put your email address in. We'll let you know when it's here.
He better cool his heels for a little while.
Yeah. Hey, it's like,
But the one thing different about this launch than the launch of the Mini 3 Pro and the Avata is, man, if you want this thing, there's no waiting around or whatever. You can just scroll right down to your Best Buy and pick one up, no problem. Or if you order it, they probably say, well, how fast do you want it? There's no delay in getting the Mavic 3 Classic, Bill. You want one.
And see, Maddie just put that in there
in a day.
For a few $100 more, you can get the regular Mavic 3. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? I mean, really, at this point, if you think about it, if you're going to go out, let's put it this way. If you're going to go out and spend $1,500, $1,700 on it, let's say $1,500 for argument's sake. Okay. You spend $500 more, you're going to be getting the regular Mavic 3 with a telephoto. Why wouldn't you want to do something like that?
Bill, what's the better deal right now? Getting that Autel EVO Lite Plus bundle for $11.99 or getting the Mavic 3 Classic?
Oh, I think getting the Mavic 3 Classic. And I'm sure, as much as I want Autel to succeed, Autel is like the little engine that could. Okay, every time they get the engine started. Remember, you guys know this from back in the 60s. Okay, my dad had a Ford Galaxy. All right, and let me tell you that the car would start in the coldest of weather, but when it rained outside, that car wouldn't start worth squat. Okay. And I remember my dad's neighbor coming over, all right, getting some whiskey, a shot of whiskey, taking the air cleaner off, pouring in the carburetor, boom, the thing jumps up. And he did something else before that, okay? He dried off the distributor cap because back in the day, those distributor caps were leaked like nobody's business. Water got in there and they wouldn't start. He dried that off. Get in there, he poured some whiskey, and boom, that thing fired up. Same kind of thing.
Bill, the greatest invention in the history of cars was the fuel injection. The carburetor, man, I couldn't wait to kick those carburetors to the curb.
Oh my
motorcycles
God.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't tell you how many times I had problems with that car starting, and it was because of the daggone carburetor. Okay, and it just it was, I understood why they invented it, but after a while, I agree 100%.
Hey, but Bill Lemron, I got a question. We did a little show. Of course, we did it a week early, and of course, the drone didn't come out. And Ron served up some crow there, but of course, we made fun of it. And we had fun, but we did the show the next week. But out of I would say, we're a small, I guess, population of drone. A couple hundred people, a couple hundred that come to the shows and stuff. But I don't think I know anybody. Well, Marcus did know somebody, but there was not one person ordered the Classic. So isn't that very strange, though? Where does it fit in? If you have the Air 2S, or you're going, I know you're moving up a little bit, but if you got the Mavic 3, you don't need the Classic. So it's kind of a strange place. It's not a starter drone. And then, for a lot of us here in the chat, I'm looking down down here on the right side of the chat. A lot of people have the Air 2S, and they're not going to. The Classic really doesn't excite me that much. I think I would step all the way up to the Mavic.
Raise your hand in the chat if you bought the Classic.
Well, Maddie brought up a good point right here. Everyone we know already owns something sufficient.
Well, that's exactly, 100%.
Yeah. Maddie hit the nail on the head because Ron, you, Johnny, Marcus, everybody in our sphere, Captain Ray, everybody, we all have something that is there already. So it's not gonna
I will say that, but up to this particular drone coming out, we've almost bought everything else that came out. Right. We stepped up to so now, is it too many drones in that space, or is it I don't know.
Point, Johnny.
Well, you have a point, but not all the way, Johnny, because outside of Marcus, when he buys every mini DJI Mini there, but when I already have like the Mini 2, I don't buy the Mini SE, or when I don't buy when the good one comes out first, I don't buy the lower ones, So I didn't really buy every drone that came out.
But Ron, I think the difference is the price. Listen, if you got the SE, if you got the Mini 2, you're talking $300 to $500 drones, and now these drones are $1,200 to $2,000. So it's a big difference,
Oh yeah. Anytime a drone costs over, we used to say $1,000, but I guess I better peg it about $1,500. Anytime a drone costs over $1,500. People are very reluctant, and because the technology at the lower price points is so good now,
right.
Air 2S, Mini 3 Pro, they're such good drones that for a lot of people, that the Mavic 3 Classic really doesn't do that much for them, because they have great drones right now.
And did they make it with that C1 rating? So other countries, is that a big? Maybe in the U.S. it doesn't matter too much to us. So I don't know.
Well, see, for me, for example, okay, we're going up to Ohio. Everybody knows we're about a month away from granddaughter number 2 being born, and we're going up to Ohio. And one of the things I'm considering what drone to take, I'm seriously giving some thought. As long as the weather's okay, taking the Mini 3 Pro up. Okay,
yeah, for travel.
It'll travel well. I can put it. I'm getting a new laptop. I'm going to put it in a laptop bag, and I'm going to get one of those like PGY Tech those cases just to put the drone in that case. Controller and another one of those clamshell cases.
Inside a bigger bag.
Put them inside a bigger bag.
Okay. Travel plans.
Yeah, exactly, Ron.
Yeah, unless I was going on to some exotic location, if I'm flying, I'm probably taking the mini drone, not a full size drone.
Yeah.
But on that, Bill, I have to run. I have other engagements I have to run, but I want to thank you for having me on tonight, and I want to thank everybody that joined us in the chat tonight. A lot of great comments out there already, and you guys have a great show, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate
it.
Hey, Johnny.
All right, Ron.
Good night.
Yeah, and I was looking at Tony's comment. Tony Quadcopter made. He's right. we're a couple hundred, maybe, but that's how samples are done. But I would say our little community, we sold more Nano Plus than we have the Classic. So it is kind of strange, but I agree that everybody in the chat probably has the Air 2S or the Mavic 3 or they just bought the Mini 3 Pro, and then it was an overload technology year with, you know, I mean, man, look at just in the past month, you've had the Action 3 and the Mini 3 Pro, and now you got this, and Autel's coming out with drones. They're smart controllers. There's a lot of technology out.
There's a lot coming out right now, Johnny, and this was a banner year for DJI because our friend Acetalev on Twitter, everything that he said was supposed to come out has, and he's batting 1,000 on this, okay, and just knocking it out of the park, and you know, they're still talking like a Pocket 3 could come out before Christmas, and then it, you know, and I know, you know, we've heard rumors about an Inspire 3 that's supposed to be coming out before the end of the year as well too, even though that's really not in the consumer kind of drone space. But you know, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about with you, Johnny, was, you know, again, Mavic 3 Classic review, great drone at a great price, but I still want an Air 3. One of the things that, you know, and this really begs to be talked about, you know, I know because I've kind of chatted a little bit with Lon when I was on Drone Nation the other week, and he and I are kind of in agreement here. Okay, they are going to do an Air 3. Okay, there still is a price point that DJI, you know, there's that gap. Okay, and that gap is between the Mini 3 Pro and now the Mavic 3 Classic. Okay, there's a gap there. All right, and I think they're going to fill that with an Air 3. Okay, and I know one of the things Lon was big on, and I'm kind of big on that too, is, you know, everybody's really up on vertical shooting now. Okay. Yeah. You know, especially in your profession, real estate, you know, that's getting to be big right now. YouTube shorts are really starting. And, you know, I found out, if you guys don't know, you know, if you gain enough traction, if you're monetized on YouTube and you gain enough traction, your YouTube shorts, they'll get monetized. Okay. So it's like, I put out a couple of 15-second videos about the, firmware updates. They're monetized. I mean, you know, granted, you know, it's not going to be a lot, but still, you know, every little bit counts. So, you know, this vertical shooting mode is important as well too. And also by the time that something like this comes out, they're probably going to tweak the battery even more. Okay. I know that battery life on the Air 2S is pretty good. Okay. And it's going to be even better because I'm kind of in limbo because I want to get a drone that I can use on my for ham radio, okay? And just to let people know what drones are used for in ham radio is you can set up, there's an antenna called an end-fed antenna, all right? And what you can do is get a drop mechanism, attach it to like an Air 2S, put it on the bottom there, put that up there and put like a, they call it an arborist bag or a throw weight, put that on there, go up over a tree limb, drop it over there. It'll go down the ground. You can pull that up. You have an antenna up in a tree in minutes like that. So
instead of throwing rocks up there or something, how did you do it before, Bill?
Yeah, well, yeah, you had to get that arborist bag and try to throw it up. Some people used potato launchers. I mean, it was just it's a mess, Johnny, to try to do that. Yeah, and I saw a guy. He did it with a Phantom 3. Okay, and I said. He bought one of those release mechanism things on Amazon, and I found one. There's one for an Air 2S, and you know, what I may do is I may get one before an Air 3 comes out because it'll be dirt cheap. Because I believe it or not, it's not going to be for the video or photography quality that I'm getting it for. It's going to be for the ability to do something like that. Of course, I want to be able to drop video of dropping the antenna. Don't get me wrong, but you know where I'm going on that. But
well, I think people right now, you know what? I think for everybody in the community, you know what? I think you got to make a budget minded and what type of work do you do if you're doing any kind of 107 work? Well, hey, it'd be great to have that Classic as a backup to the Air, you know, and then you could also, you know, maybe get rid of your Air 2S and move up to the Classic, or you know, you want to go all the way up, get the Mavic 3. So yeah, you got a lot to pick from, and you know, either drone, the Air 2S. Is still a beast, and they brought new life to it with the RC controller because it feels like you got a whole new drone in your hand just flying RC. So it's you know, I think they brought new life to the Air 2S, and I just think even through Christmas and the holidays there'll be a lot of Air 2S sold. You know, it's still a great buy, great drone.
I think you're right, and one of the things, you know, there's a lot of videos coming out, and I put a part 1 video out. I didn't really call it part 1, but I did one on cruise control with the Mavic 3. Okay. And it's super easy to set up and super easy to use. I did all 3 modes. I did normal, cine, and sport. And what I did in cine, I didn't stop it. I did a flipper on, and you can yaw with it. You can turn around with it. You can adjust altitude with it, until you either touch that X on the screen or the button that you assigned, it'll do its thing, and it'll hold at that speed. Well, our good friend Michael Wright, who's in the chat, he gave me another tip. He said, use the C2 button instead of the C3. He said that way you won't have to take your hand like off the controller when you're doing that, because I was having to put my left hand to hold the stick up and then hit the button. Won't have to do that this way, okay? Because it's on the backside. So that makes a whole lot more sense. Thank you, Michael. And I'm gonna
they were talking about that last night, I believe. Yeah, they set that up.
Do another update with that. One of the other ones is this night mode, and I really kind of think what they were doing. Remember how Autel came on? I think recently, was it Autel? It had with I think it was with one of their EVO II Pros, if I'm not mistaken, Johnny. They came out with some kind of night mode with it. Okay. And it took some stellar videos, stellar pictures, and I think this is kind of in response to them. And from what I saw, I watched the only real night video I saw was Marcus's, and it was really good. I'm going to go out and do one this weekend up over our clubhouse because it's all lit up and the pool's up there, and the reflection off that at night should be really good. So I'm going to go try that. But it opens up a whole new realm for people. You know what I'm saying?
Michael Wright's got a nice comment up there. Bill, let's see, Johnny, another good point is SDK has been released for the Air 2S. It sounds like no more SDK for future DJI. Huh. Interesting.
Okay. Thomas Baker, Autel sent me bad news about the EVO II V1 and V2. May 2023 and V2, October 2024. No longer supported. Okay, wow.
I just got that email myself. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. SDK has been released for the Air 2S, but it sounds like no more SDK for future DJI consumer drones. Very interesting, Michael. That's very interesting news. Okay, because I know a lot of people really like to do that. Those of you,
I don't know if I would. Well, I don't know. I see Maddie's comment there, and I really don't know. That would be kind of strange, but hey,
I don't know. Yeah.
And Maddie's got a comment there. I was thinking about that Light Plus, and think about that. They got the new small controller, and Dobo did a great review on that for Autel. But hey, if I spend $1,200 on that Light, even though it's a great buy, and I got the Nano Plus, so if I bought the small controller, would I have 2 drones to work on it? I don't know, because they're just saying it's going to be available. So
we don't know. Then
I'm gonna have $2,000 in that. So I probably just be better to buy the Mavic 3. So there you go. I think you got to watch what you buy and think about before you buy.
Yeah, like Michael said, it looks like they're concentrating on the Pro version. So
that's possible.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know what SDK, that's software development kit, and that's for people who I admit I'm a reformed programmer. We used to be called programmers back in the day. They call them developers now. Okay. I'm reformed. I graduated and I became a quality assurance analyst. So anyway, all right. For those of you who are developers / programmers in our end of this, you could code up a bunch of things with this. Okay. And it's really kind of convenient, but you got to know what you're doing with code to do something like that. So, and a lot of people do. A lot of people tinker around with it, can experiment with it, but that's one of those things that's going to go away. Now, Johnny, I don't see, okay, as far as what's going to go on sale the rest of this year, okay, I think we're like completely wide open. All right. As far as DJI is concerned, I think we're going to see some specials on some things. I think you'll see the Air 2S. I think you're going to find some deals on that. Around, Black Friday's coming up. I think you're also going to find some deals. I think you know, sooner rather than later, and I don't think it's going to hit till next year. The Mavic 3 SE or the Mavic 3 Basic non-pro version, I think that'll come out either probably sometime early next year, and it's going to be a watered down version of the Pro.
They got some refurb units hitting the market now for the Mavic 3, and I think they're, you know, not a bad deal. So, you know, and more of that will become. Yeah, and I agree, Bill. I think that the Air 2S maybe we'll know if they, you know, I mean, look what Autel did, and did Autel reduce that, you know, light to $1,200 because of the Classic? Probably so, but you know, so I think DJI, but you know, he got a lot to choose from for Christmas, or if you're trying to, you know, get to where you need to do some 107 work, you know, you just need to find out what your end result is going to be. If you end up with the Mavic 3 and the Air 2S as backup, or you're going to have the, you know, the Classic with the Air 2S as, you know, so I don't know. It's a lot to pick from.
It really is. In an unrelated topic, one of the things that I found, and I was going to try to bring it up, and I'm going to see if I can find that, because this just seems like something that was just kind of too good to be true in my book, because I'm fast running out of space on my desktop. Okay. You know, I originally I had a 1 terabyte hard drive in my desktop, and I changed it over and I got a 6 terabyte. Okay. Well, I have about 54 gig or no 540 gig left in there. Okay. Not a lot. You know, it's been filling up for a while. Let's see. I think I saved this in a list, and I wanted to show this to you guys because it just really intrigued the daylights out of me. You guys know that, okay, one of the things, if you're like Johnny, Ron, Marcus, myself, Ray, okay, you shoot a lot of video, okay, video eats up a lot of space on your computer, okay? There's no question about it, okay? So you need, the more hard drive space you have, the better life is, okay? Now, you also know, okay, that coming out within the last 5 years or so, SSD drives, okay? New computer I'm going to get is a solid state 2 terabyte SSD drive, okay? Which means it's fast, okay? They boot up right away. There's no like having to wait and all that kind of good stuff, right? Well, I came across this on Amazon because I'm looking at storage options, and I'm going to go with some kind of external storage option instead of replacing the internal hard drive. And I wanted to show you guys this because this just absolutely positively blew me away here. Okay. Now this is a 16, okay. 16 terabyte. All right. Hard drive, ultra high speed SSD external hard drive. Okay. With reading speeds up to 5,000 megabits per second, 16 terabyte external solid state hard drive. Okay.
16
now I went
terabyte.
through and I looked through the reviews. Okay. The reviews are really good for this. And look at the price. $109.
This 1 terabyte costs that much.
Yeah, I know. I just got this. I had a gift card from Best Buy, and I just got this 5 terabyte one. This was like $225. Okay, and I thought it was a good deal because I bought it for my new laptop that's coming for like when we go up to Ohio, so I can have pretty much everything on this right here. And then I'm looking at this, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
16 terabyte.
16. Now, I read in one of the comments, they said usable, you'll probably get maybe about 14 out of it, which I get and I understand. I read in one of the... Hey, Marcus.
How we doing?
Good.
Marcus.
We're looking at this solid state 16 terabyte external hard drive on Amazon, $109.
Too good to be true.
Well, and you know, I said that myself, Marcus. I went through and I looked through those comments. I really couldn't find a bad comment on this.
Well, I mean, the cool thing about Amazon is you can send it back.
You send it back,
real.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. And that's what I'm going to do. I got itchy trigger fingers because a week from Friday we get our annual bonus. Okay. So that's when I'm timing it really tightly because I'm buying my new laptop then, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers. It'll get built before December 10th, it'll arrive before December 10th when we go up to Ohio. because our granddaughter number 2 is going to be born. So I'm like doing one of these and going, kind of rolling the dice. But this is I'm gonna be jumping in on this one too. I think this is a good deal.
Well, I'll be anxious to hear how well that works, Bill. And if it's everything, if it really truly is the real deal, wow.
One of the other ones,
I'll buy 3.
Yeah, no lie.
I'm with you 100% on that, Marcus. Well, one of the other ones that I'm looking at here, okay. Now, I've had really good luck with Seagate, okay, and that's what I currently have. I currently have a 10 terabyte one right now that's hooked up. And what I really like about this, if you look in the front right here, okay, there's USB-A and USB-C right there, right up front, okay,
right.
Which is fantastic because what I do is when I go ahead and I've had this since 2019. This is my SD card reader. It's an Anchor one, okay. I just plug it in right up front. It sits right over here on this side. Just plug that right in. Boom. Okay. It's right there. I don't have to go underneath my desk to find a USB port and stick it in there. Right over there on the side. Like that. So this is something that I'm considering getting for my desktop. It's 18 terabytes. Okay. And I'll triple my storage space right now. And I won't have a problem with running out of space. Not unless I start like 5 or 6 new channels, okay? Which I don't plan on doing, by the way. So
they got a person in the chat says, I'm a computer tech for Apple. This isn't real. So I don't know. Yeah. But I'm like Marcus, hey, you know what? You could always send it back, I guess.
Exactly. That's the beautiful thing about Amazon. You can always send this back. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Marcus, I wanted to get your take and I'm trying to stop sharing. Okay. All right. I know you've done cruise control, all right, on the Mavic 3. What are your thoughts on
it? I know a lot of people like that night mode, and it's cool, but I don't fly much at night, so it's not as important to me. That cruise control is. I will use the heck out of that. That is one of the coolest things that DJI has come up with in years. Yeah.
Marcus, that's exactly what I said in the middle of my video. I said, for all the stuff DJI has come out with, the Johnnie, the Asteroid, the Rocket, the Helix, all that stuff, okay? Good stuff. Hyperlapse, good stuff, okay? But I'll tell you what, cruise control, okay? This is muy bueno because it gives you hands-free, all right? Because I did this the other day. I did it in all 3 modes. I did it in Sports, Cine, and Normal. And when I was in Cine, I didn't stop it. I just turned it around, went the other direction, okay, like nobody's business, okay. And I'm going to do another one. Now, Michael Wright commented on my video, and he gave me a really good suggestion. Instead of assigning it to C3, assign it to C2, because that way you won't have to take your thumb off the, because I was having to, do one of these, I was holding the thumb up and I had my left hand coming around and I was trying to hit the button and all that. Don't have to do that. Okay.
Yeah. I kind of pointed that out in the most recent video that I did on it. Yeah. C3 doesn't work. The problem with the RCN one, is that you've only got that top button on it. And so you can still engage it with the RCN one, but it's by that left stick. So, Johnnie, what do you think of cruise control?
Well, I mean, after watching a couple of little reviews on it, I was pretty neat. But I don't have the Mavic 3, so hey.
Okay. Oh, geez, I keep forgetting.
Oops.
Yeah. He's got a, hey, you got any sandpaper around? He wants to rub it in.
I'm just giving Mr. Johnnie a hard time.
No, but hey, Marcus, you always talk about this. They come out with something that you didn't even think of. So, did you think of cruise control?
Exactly right.
Yeah, so it's a feature that hey, it popped up, and you go like, hey, why didn't I think of that?
Well, yeah. The in the bigger picture is that I believe is that DJI is trying to differentiate the Mavic 3 from the rest of their line and adding these pro features like cruise control, like night mode, that preview mode for Hyperlapse. I'm not sure I understand that, what the value of that is, but I still think it's moving in that effort to make the Mavic 3 the preeminent prosumer drone. And of course, then the other thing that everybody asks is, well, will we see it down the line? The only we may see it on the Mini 3, and the only reason I say that is because of the name that they gave the Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro. So that I think is a possibility.
Well, look who's there.
Hey,
Captain
Bill,
Ray.
Johnny, Marcus, how you guys doing?
Captain Ray.
Wait, I'm the only guy on here that don't have the Mavic 3. I mean, like, what's
I
up?
think
We won't
you
put any
better
pressure
order it
on
right
Johnny
now.
tonight,
Hit
okay?
that buy button.
We won't put any pressure. Ray, I got a question to ask you. Have you tried cruise control on your Mavic 3?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
Been sitting here and I haven't got a chance to fly it. I don't know if you know, I'm actually under the weather a little bit. I might be coughing. If I cough too much, I'll have to leave.
No, don't worry about that.
But no COVID, so that's good.
Okay, that's good. That's real good.
Hey, all kidding aside, Johnny and I have been talking about the Mavic 3 a lot, and I know, Johnny, I know you're interested in it. And if you think about, it is the drone that differentiates itself from almost anything else out there with the features and that micro four thirds sensor. I just don't think there's anything that comes even anywhere close to it in that prosumer area.
I love it. That's all I can say. And I know Johnny would be totally happy with it. There is no doubt in my mind about it. And I know, Bill, you love yours. Marcus, you love yours. Ron Brown loves his. We can go right through the list.
DeMarco and I, we're trying to make we called DJI and see if we bought two together, would they give us a discount? And they didn't answer the phone. So they hung up on DeMarco when he asked that. So
well I think DeMarco also has the added inconvenience of being able to. He might have to sleep on the couch. So I'm not sure he's too fancy about that. So he
won the football game last night, so he got a little money. So
okay.
DeMarco, I think, dug up the best deal out there, and that's the Mavic 3 refurb on eBay. That's a pretty good buy. I'm not sure why you'd buy the Classic when you could get that refurb at the price that they have it advertised. It was, Johnny, wasn't it $15.49 for a while?
I think it was. He actually saw it for $16.49, but I think it was $100. It was $17.49 and then $100 less. Yeah.
Yeah, before the Classic came out, it was $100 cheaper, and that would have been the steal.
So you can't beat that, even for refurbished, because you get the warranty from DJI. It's like, how can you lose with something like that? And
they're like, and it's a brand new drone, really. I mean, really, it's a brand new drone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to make a point here. Yeah, and it's like, okay, it was kind of like Christmas for the Mavic 3 owners here. Because, DJI drops this firmware update, and then we go looking, and I'm like, holy crap, look at all the stuff that they added onto it. I said, it was just like, like kids in a candy store kind of a thing. I mean, it's just like, wow. And then, the Mini 3 gets an update as well, too. But it's like, my focus is on looking at the Mavic 3 and what they've added here. And I'm like, okay, they release a new drone, but at the same time, they update the Mavic 3 and look at the features that they add. It's just, I thought that just kind of blew me away. I mean, I was prepared for an update, but not that kind of an update.
No, it was good. DJI's coming through. They really are. They
are.
They're making me very, very happy.
Same here. Okay, because I'll tell you what, every time, and I know Marcus, you'll say it, and Ray, you'll probably say it as well. Every time I take that Mavic 3 out, all right, it's like I wonder, why do I have any other drone? Seriously, I go, why do I have any other drone? I mean, I love my Mini 3 Pro. Don't get me wrong, okay, but why do I have? And then combine that with the DJI RC Pro, and I'm like, and Marcus knows it now. It's like, it's like night and day. When you have not having the Pro and having the Pro, it's like night and day a flying experience. It really is. Am I right, Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, it is, especially when you fly it back to back with another drone. You really notice the difference, and it's the total package. It's the video quality, it's the precision of the drone, it's the speed of the drone, it's the features of the drone. but yeah. I mean, I just can't say enough good about it. It's the best drone that I've ever owned. I said that repeatedly, and it's true.
I don't,
Bill, I enjoyed your
cruise. I know everybody said that about that drone. There's not one person, listen, the Mini 3 Pro is great. The Air 2S is great, but man, everybody that's got the Mavic 3 says exactly the same thing.
I'm sorry, you're going to say something, Ray? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I watched your cruise control video today, and it was great. It was.
Well, it was so much fun, Ray. I was, and I think I said that in the video, and Marcus just said that as well. It's like, I love features that DJI adds, like the asteroid, the rocket, the helix, the Johnnie, all that stuff. And the master shots are nice and the tracking is nice and everything. But this cruise control, this is a real value added feature. Okay. You know what it reminds me of? You know what DJI has done? And if you guys, work with me here for a second, say like you have an Inspire 2. Okay. And you have a pilot, and then you have a cameraman, if you want to call it, for lack of a better term, who focuses totally on the camera, okay? And the other pilot, he has that first-person view, okay? The cameraman's focused on, has his controller and screen and everything, okay? This kind of allows you to do both at once, okay? Because, it kind of takes, having that cruise control on there kind of takes you that worry, I don't want to call it worry, it takes you from having to maintain your finger on that stick, and you can do other things with your camera, okay, and video, okay, and I just think that's incredible. You can get some incredible shots that way. You can do some tight maneuvers that way that you normally couldn't do.
It reduces the pilot workload.
You're exactly, Marcus. I think that's fantastic. Well, it's been, I'm sure, like probably, people who fly the Matrice are probably laughing at us like, yeah, we've had that, it's like no big deal kind of a thing. But for us, for consumers, this is golden. It really is. It's really Christmas in November. I can't say it any other way.
So what's the flight time on a Mavic 3? It's good, really good.
Oh, as long as I want to fly.
42 minutes, but I've never got 42 minutes.
Yeah, I've gotten 35 on it before.
Yeah, right. That's a long time. Yeah,
and I got 15% battery left. Okay?
You'll easily get 30 minutes. That's what I'll say.
Marcus is right.
And I'm really heavy on the sticks, Johnny, as you know. I'm always going full throttle this direction or the other, and I get 30 minutes without fail. So.
And
I'll tell you, flying 2 batteries really is enough. It is.
I agree.
At least for me, I can talk for myself. That's enough flying for me.
And that's the reason I only bought a second battery. Okay, I don't have 3 batteries for the Mavic 3. I don't need it. It's like I go out there, with whatever I'm shooting for the day. I don't need a third battery. Right. It's never been, unless I started doing Part 107 type stuff. Doing some real estate or roof inspections or whatever. I don't need a third battery with that. It's not there for the flying that I do. I don't need it. I really don't. Well, one thing I'm real anxious to do, okay, I think you guys saw it. It's probably a couple of years ago. Dobo and I headed down to the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, okay, and we went from the North Pier, which is actually closer to the bridge than the South Pier. I found out, okay, and I got some great shots. Now it was with a Mavic 2. And this was the day that we found out. I'll never forget this, okay? Ken's trying to change his battery. It's just like, what the hell's wrong? It's like he says, the battery's looking pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's when we found out, the battery swelling issue with the Mavic 2. He was a little hot under the collar that day, just to say the least. Okay?
And you were flying right from the fishing pier there next to it?
No, we weren't flying from the pier, Ray. We flew from the what I want to call there's like a little, I don't want to call it state park, but there's a rest area there.
Okay, yeah.
From the rest area and not from the pier, because the pier it's too crowded at the pier. I tried doing that once because everybody's fishing down there. Okay, and try to get a spot down there. It's really hard. So we found a great spot. It was kind of like a little bit on the beach kind of a thing, and it was kind of not a lot of people were there, and we were able to get up there. Now the other thing is Fort DeSoto State Park is literally right across, and it's real easy. But I ran out of batteries. All 3 of my batteries were gone by the time I thought about going over there and trying to do something. But I'm anxious to try that with the Mavic 3 and go down there and do that. So, but the thing is, okay, like anywhere in Florida, you got to pay toll when you go over the frickin' bridge. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I don't know.
If
I don't know if you guys talked about it, but Billy Cobb put out a great video on the Mavic 3 Classic today. Yeah, I was impressed with it, and he loves the Classic. He does.
Well, but if you got the Mavic 3, would you get the Classic? Is it need to get the Classic? I mean,
no, definitely not. It's a step down. So
Yeah.
Ray's right. I mean, for those of us that have it, I'm not going to get it just to get it. I mean, I got, like I was talking, Ray, before you joined. I'm thinking about getting an Air 2S simply for the fact to use on my ham radio channel, so I can drop.
I happen to have an Air 2S. I happen to have an Air 2S right here that could go up for sale.
Yeah, I love my Air 2S. I do.
Yeah, I'm seriously thinking about doing that, but I'm gonna wait until possibly an Air 3S comes out, or maybe around Christmas if they drop the price low enough. I might take that dive.
Yeah, hey, Marcus, you wasn't in here, so what will they be? Will they be at some Black Friday deals on DJI? What's going to pop up for sale? Anything?
Air 2S for sure.
Yeah, I would potentially, Bill. I would agree. Maybe they'll start blowing out the Air 2S, and that would give us a clue then as to if there's going to be a successor. Right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The DJI has to really do a whole heck of a lot. Maybe, I don't know how well the Action 3 camera is done. That may be some potential there. I just don't think. Yeah. I just don't think DJI is in a position where they need to do a lot of discounting. What would be neat to see before Christmas, and I think would be huge for them, is a Mini 3 SE or whatever they're going to call it, a decontented version of the Mini 3. I think would sell like hotcakes if they could get that price between $500 and $600. There'd be a lot of folks that would jump on that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, and everybody who has that Mini 3 Pro loves it. They do.
Oh yeah,
it is right here. Charging up.
It's a great drone, Ray.
It's a great drone, man.
Ray, can you give us any updates regarding the meetup coming up next year?
Well, we're up to 60. Let's see here. Let me just get the list up. Make sure it's up to date now. 62 names.
Okay.
And that's good. I mean, we still got quite a few months out,
Oh, yeah.
And for that many people to give a commitment and say they're coming, I'm very pleased with that.
That's awesome.
And Johnnie and I were talking. We might be changing the T-shirt design,
Okay.
And that might be coming too. And hopefully we'll get some nice sponsors too.
Well, I'm hopeful of once I get my bonus is coming in another week, and I'm probably gonna be one of your sponsors. I would love to do that because I gotta say this, Ray. I never had I went out. We had a few around here in Tampa. Okay, Billy and Dobo did one, which was a lot of fun, but it was pretty small. We maybe had like 10 people there. It wasn't a lot. It was a good time, but going down there was just so much fun. I can't tell you. And my wife and Valerie too. She really enjoyed herself. It was just so much fun. Finally getting to meet Marcus. Okay, I'm like, right. Oh my gosh, I've known Marcus for several years. It's the first time got a chance to see him. Okay, it was wonderful. It really was. Seeing everybody, Bob Dempsey, Greg Pittman, seeing you out there, getting to meet Art. I mean, it was just wonderful. I can't say enough about it. And Ray, I'm going to toot your horn a little bit. Thank you for all you do for the drone community, because I know you. One of your sayings is do drones, not drugs. And if we can get more kids into doing drones, we'll keep them off the streets. Maybe get them some professional careers, and do good. So,
oh yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Guys, if you want to do closing thoughts here, and then I'll kind of wrap things up. Johnnie, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you, Bill, and it's been fun. And hey, I hope everybody got out and voted, and that's almost over. And I know my phones went off about 100 times today, but no, get out there and fly what you got. And of course, Wednesday night we got Brian Mackey and Doc Murdoch. So join the Fly for Fun show. Capt, Ray, and I. It'll be a good show. And hey, everybody, get out there and fly.
Marcus.
I can't argue with Mr. Johnnie there. If you get a chance to get out and fly, get out and fly. The weather's turning, so when you get a good day, when you get a good sunny day, and it's 86 degrees in Louisiana today.
It was,
about 40 degrees in Idaho. But I'll tell you, the cooler weather to me is almost more fun to fly in because nothing overheats your cameras, your phone, nothing. And
well, hey, we almost done with the phone, Marcus, with RC controllers and stuff.
That's it. I'm telling you, now that I got that RC Pro, I don't even worry about that too much. So get out there and fly. Captain Ray, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I want to thank you for the invite, Bill. I appreciate you inviting me to be on. I'm sorry I was a little late and forgot about that time change you told me about. But I'm going to Florida next week. I'll be down there for the winter, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the South Florida Drone Meetup. And I want to thank you and Johnnie and Marcus and everybody in the chat who's coming, because it's going to be a great time. So.
So looking forward to it, Ray. I can't tell you again how much fun we had and how enjoyable it was, even from not being able to pick up the sticks to a drone. It was just, even if you don't fly, come down there. Some great fellowship, some great conversation. One of the things that I absolutely was a hoot, and I hope he comes again, is Mark Fisher. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I had such a belly laugh being around Mark. He's one of the real deals. Just a wonderful guy.
He's not invited. He's not invited.
He said he would never miss it. He told me that he would never miss the South Florida Drone Meetup. So he's
thinking of moving Anaconda right next to Captain Ray. That's how much he likes Florida.
Move from Rhode Island. All right. Well, I want to echo the sentiments. You get a chance to get out there and fly. For us here in Florida this weekend, probably not a good weekend to fly because we have Hurricane Nicole coming our way, and it's already starting to hit Maddie and everybody on the East Coast. So saying it worse, it's probably going to be a count 1. So hopefully that holds true. It's going to be a lot of wind and a lot of rain for us. No shutters have to go up. Thank you, Lord. Not have to do that. We got less than about a month before granddaughter number 2 is coming. So we're real excited about that. Also, I wanted to hope in everybody, if you haven't voted yet, make sure you go out and vote. Democracy depends upon you casting your vote and you expressing that through that. So please make sure that you do. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in at a special time tonight to enable you guys to go ahead and watch. I know a lot of people want to watch returns afterwards. So guys, thanks so much. And as always, remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.